I'm Reverend Branch. A lot of you know who I am. You may recognize my face. I usually have the preacher's hat on, but I don't have it on today. Unfortunately, I'm coming right off of a roof job, but when I was called by Reverend Zechariah and to address this issue, my personal opinion is I happen to think that it's appalling, and it's an insult to every veteran in this town to have a city council representative who represents the people. I wonder how many veterans are in her constituencies or her voting range, okay, which ward she represents. I'm quite sure there's a lot of veterans in that ward. It's an insult to each and every one of the veterans that are in her ward. First, and then the aspect of not wanting to pray. I'm a licensed ordained preacher, and I pray. If I go to city council and they're praying, I'm going to pray. Matter of fact, if I'm asked, I'll lead the prayer. So my point I'm making is, personally, I don't feel that there should be anyone in any political office, in any form of government, who is not willing to salute the flag. People have lived their lives and died for us to have the democracy that we have. And then to elect someone into office who doesn't pray, I'm quite sure, I'm positive, that had her constituencies known this, the majority of her constituencies that were veterans would not have came out and voted for her. And I'm quite sure that since this issue has come up, see, there's an old saying, we'll remember you come September. And I want all of the veterans in her ward to remember that everything that we went out and fought for so that we can have the freedom that we have, this is an insult. Thank you very much, Reverend Zechariah, for allowing me the opportunity to speak. And I'm Reverend Branch from St. John's Baptist Church. I'm also legal liaison for the NAACP. I'm also on the State Legal Redress Committee. God bless. Excuse me, and I have one other issue that I'd like to address. The City Council of the City of Plainfield have been raking Mayor Sharon Robinson Briggs over the coals because of this $20,000. My question to City Council is, how much money or monetary value do you place upon a human life? Before Sharon did what she did, bringing in BLS and Al Sharpton into town, that brought about the gang summit, which brought about the ceasefire. So therefore, it did accomplish a great deal. Map, how much have you accomplished? I happen to know that when you were on the city on the freeholders, you didn't even get on a subcommittee, much less a committee, and that's the reason why they didn't take you seriously and vote you back into office as a freeholder. So my point I'm making is, how can you sit back and rake a person over the coals the way you've been doing, and then sit here and watch somebody sit next to you who does not does not stand up and salute the flag, does not pray? See, there's too many demonic activities running around the city of Plainfield. See, this is a spiritual warfare. And we don't need anybody sitting on city council who doesn't believe in God. Because see, what they don't realize is that all things happen according to God's divine will and God's divine plan. And it's an insult to God, as well as an insult to the moral majority in this town, who you represent, not to mention the veterans.
Let me ask you some questions, Reverend Branch. I said earlier, and you see this on YouTube, when you have been dealt the hand that African Americans have been dealt from years ago under the Jim Crow law, we all, for many years ago, We were looking for somebody to run up those steps and represent us, to say that we are somebody.
That's right.
That we are somebody, that we are part of something.
I agree.
We have elected people in office because we thought that they was going to be the ones as a special people, a people that was bred into segregation. As a special people, segregated people, we thought that they were running up that hill, up them steps, and they were going to represent us.
Agreed.
And because of that, we vote people in without asking mainstream questions.
Right.
When we recognize how special we have become because of the Jim Crow law, right? Then we have to understand that we come from a special entity.
Well, Reverend Zechariah,
let me finish this. Let me go to here. So we have voted people to office years ago without asking mainstream questions because we needed somebody to represent us. But today, as the world turned, and the world is turning now, we are maturing on the world stage as men and women. So now we are matured more into the mainstream. So the next politicians to come along, if anything that come out of this right here, we're going to know what questions to ask you. In other words, you're not going to just say I'm running for office. We want to know. We got a list of questions to ask you. Well, okay, will you pray in the meetings? Will you salute the flag? Well, we got questions to ask.
Well, Reverend Zechariah, listen, there have been Muslims that held office.
Yes.
Okay, and you know, they prayed their way.
Right, yes.
Okay, you know, I just, like I said, I'm just appalled. Okay, you know, and I'm like as I said earlier, I'm positive at least a third of her constituencies, okay, are veterans.
Yes.
Or families of veterans.
Sure.
Or veterans that are no longer here with us that have died in the service of this country.
Yes.
Okay, and for her not to stand up and to hold a public office in this town, to hold a public office in this country, and not stand up and be willing to salute the flag, you ain't got no business in office, period.
You know, Reverend Jesus said some words. He said, we all have a right, to not salute the flag. That's the right in the Constitution. But we as people today, we have to start asking questions. If anything come out of this here is the next politician that I come in contact with, I will ask him questions.
Well, you know what?
I'm going to ask, will you salute the flag or do you salute the flag? I'm going to ask you questions.
Reverend Zechariah, it even goes even deeper than that. This is spiritual warfare. Because, see, first of all, you can sit in your car and enter into your quiet closet. When you enter into your quiet closet, what that means is that you lock everything out and you're in communion with God.
Yes.
Okay? A city council meeting, believe me, with some of the problems that we have going on in this town and over this country, we need prayer. We need prayer back in the church. We need prayer back in City Hall. We need prayer back everywhere. Okay? And like I said, it's an insult. It's an insult to me as clergy. Now, I'll grant you, she has rights.
Sure.
Okay? And I'm legal liaison. I fight for people's rights.
Sure.
But, come on, you holding a public office. What message are you sending to the people?
Especially to the youth.
You, a preacher, has to live by an example, okay? Because people are supposed to try to see God through us.
Yes.
You hold a city council position. You have to set an example. What example are you setting?
That's right.
For the kids who happen to come to city council or their parents or what have you, okay, or whoever's hearing or who's ever reading newspapers or watching TV. What kind of example are you setting? Are you saying that the next generation of children that get in hold public office, they should not salute the flag? Are you saying that the next generation of children that come up, because this is the example that you set, okay, aren't supposed to pray?
Yes.
Okay, in a public forum?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
All right.
God bless you. I
Those are
gotta
words
get back. I gotta get back to the roof.
Of Reverend Branch and Reverend Zechariah Jackson from the church. I'm from the church. What's happening now? You're from?
I'm from St. John's Baptist Church, and as I already said, I'm also legal liaison for the NAACP, which basically means we do all the internal affair investigations throughout the state of New Jersey. Whenever the police do something, even if your employer violates your rights and you contact the NAACP, I'm going. I fight for everybody's rights. Black, white, purple, or green. The NAACP is no longer just about civil rights. We're also about human rights. And that's why this is so appalling.
And everyone's civil rights can be violated.
That's right. Anybody's civil rights can be violated.
All right.
God bless you.
Listen, Reverend Branch.
Yeah.